Hello everyone and welcome back to another very exciting chess game. And this time I have one more very exciting chess game to show you by the first official world chess champion Wilhelm Steinitz against Lord Randolph Churchill. So this was a blindfolded chess game from 1870, Oxford, England. So before starting to this chess game, I want to give you some interesting facts about Wilhelm Steinitz. I'm going to make something different in today. So Wilhelm Steinitz was only 5 feet tall. That's very short, which is about 152 centimeters tall, and that's so short even for that time's standards. It was very short even for that times, and he was limping when he was walking, so he was using a walking stick. He had some sort of disability from birth which affected his walking. Interesting. And Wilhelm Steinitz is known to have a violent temper. He was getting angry and losing his cool very quickly during chess games. He had violent temper, especially when he had a difficult position and when he was losing. So he was a bad loser. And he was a colorful character, as you can see. And one final interesting fact, actually Wilhelm Steinitz has so many interesting facts, but one final interesting fact, because this video is going to be very long, he played a game of chess against the father of the British Prime Minister during the Second World War, Winston Churchill. So this Lord Randolph Churchill that you see his picture on the right, Steinitz's opponent in this chess game, was the father of Winston Churchill, the British statesman and the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And Lord Randolph Churchill was also one of the founders of the Oxford Chess Club. So he was a chess fanatic. And interestingly, I'm pretty sure that Winston Churchill himself also knew about this chess game. The chess game of his father against the first official world chess champion. And again, this was a blindfolded chess game. So Steinitz starts the game with e4, e5, f4, and this is King's Gambit. E takes on f4, accepted. Knight to f3, g5, h4, and then g4, attacking the knight. So black is a pawn up, and knight to e5, attacking the g-pawn. Queen to e7, so if moving the knight, queen takes the e-pawn, d4, d6, knight takes on g4, queen takes on e4, queen to e2, so attacking the queen, defending, and if capturing the queen, black is going to have a strong center. So knight to e5, knight is getting closer to the king, and this is an interesting position. We have knight to h6. Well, of course, if queen takes on d4, not knight to c6 check, because the queen can go back, but white can play knight to g6 check and winning the rook or the exchange. So we have knight to h6, but if pushing the pawn, this is going to bite back because of bishop takes on f4. And again, if queen takes bishop, then knight to g6 check, queen goes back, and then capturing the rook, and white is actually, the position is for about equal in that variation, but it is getting deep. And if capturing the knight, then bishop takes on e5, and how to defend the rook. Okay, so maybe knight to f6, bishop takes knight, and then defending the rook, rook to g8, but white is better. So this is an interesting position with some interesting possibilities. Knight to e5, an exciting move by Steinitz. Knight to h6, and knight to c3, attacking the queen, pinning the knight. And finally, Steinitz decided to capture the queen, and then he knocks the head of the f-pawn. So knight to f5, and this looks good for white. This is a good position. It looks like black is attacking the d-pawn. So what else? Steinitz castled from the queen side. White has managed to castle, and white is looking much more active than black. Black is lacking behind in the development. Bishop takes on c3, damaging the pawn structure, but white is better. Knight to d6, and then pushing the pawn c4 and gaining some space. f6, c5, a very exciting move. f takes on e5, and if capturing the knight, capturing the bishop, and this is going to be a blunder, but the blindfolded Steinitz didn't miss anything. He played the best move. Bishop takes on e5, delayed gratification, not immediately capturing the knight, but also attacking the rook at the same time. Both of black's pieces is under fire. So knight to f7. If defending the rook, then pawn takes knight, and according to the computer chess engine, white has almost +2 points advantage in here. So bishop takes on e5, knight to f7, and then capturing the rook. Knight takes on h8. Okay, getting 2 knights for the rook plus the pawn, but white has better position. So rook over, especially after this move, and how to defend the pawn. Black king is wide open in the center, plus black pawns are falling. As you can see, this h pawn also looks like a potential weak target, and then white, if white can capture this pawn, white is going to get 2 connected pass pawns. So we have b6, but if bishop to f5, then bishop to d3, and the pawn is pinned. So we have rook over, and then pushing the pawn and simply capturing the pawn with check, moving the king and bishop to c4, attacking the rook, defending the rook, and also defending the g pawn. So threatening rook to g8, infiltrating, check, and then also capturing the knight is possible. So knight to g6, but giving the walking papers to the knight. Knight to e7, rook to e1, and rook to g7 is in the cards. So, but we can see that this knight on e7 must defend rook to g8 check. So it feels like the poor knight on e7 is getting overloaded. So knight from b to c6, but the solution is very simple for white. d5, Steinitz is squeezing life out of his opponent now, defending the knight and attacking the d pawn. But the solution is very simple, pushing the pawn, squeezing his opponent, plus gaining tempo. So defending the bishop, what else? And then rook is getting in, mission accomplished. How to defend the knight? Okay, so this is a losing position for the father of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Winston Churchill. Interesting. This is all over. Steinitz was blindfolded. Well, Lord Randolph Churchill didn't resign, and he played knight takes on c6. Black is desperate, because in this position, if knight to f5, then rook to g8 is going to be checkmate in one move. So rook to g7 and capturing the pawn, d takes on c6, knight takes on c6, but then bishop to b5, and black can't move the knight. We have bishop to b7, because if moving the knight, then rook to e8 is going to get checkmated for black. Black is getting checkmated, so bishop to b5, bishop to b7, but then rook to d1, moving the king. If king to c8, it is going to end very soon, check, and then black is going to get checkmated very quickly. So we have king to e8, and then rook takes on c7, and this is all over. But black is still playing for fun, maybe king to f8. If rook to b8, then rook takes, bishop takes, forking the king and the rook. So king to f8, and then rook to f1, king moves, bishop check. Steinitz is playing very precise. Actually, he could have captured the bishop, but he is just hunting the king, and after this move, black resigned, because after king to h8, black resigned because of this possible continuation. Rook is getting in, and how to defend? Actually, after this move, Churchill resigned, sorry. So at move 34, anyway, it doesn't matter. So after this move, black resigned because he's getting checkmated. There is no defense. So if some random move, then checkmate in one move. The only move which can prolong this chess game is knight to e7, which doesn't make any sense. Then rook takes, and then check, pushing the pawn, and then black is going to get checkmated. Lateral checkmate. Checkmate. Okay, so what an exciting, interesting chess game by Steinitz against a very interesting opponent. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Take care and bye bye.